Hey guys, welcome to the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Princess Donnough. She is an actress from London. Welcome to the show.
Hi, hello.
It's good to have you on the show, Princess. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah,
Good.
I'm alive. So
You're alive and well.
yeah.
So, and not to make you feel old or myself to feel old, but like, we've known each other for like 11 years this year.
That does make me feel old because I kind of remember how old I was. That is crazy.
I know.
That's actually insane.
Yeah, we met like the summer of 2012. We was making the film Orioh,
Yeah.
and
Why did you just pause?
I always thought it was a big. Listen, I have to think about that film because it was such a great experience, and so. Like, for us as such young kids trying to make something of that magnitude, because, and if you guys listening don't know anything about Orioh, but Orioh was a romantic comedy which was created by this girl called Talia, and she came to me with the idea, and so we wrote the script together, and we decided, okay, we want to make it, and we wanted to make it into like this feature film with no experience in what we were doing, but just like young driven creatives who wanted to make something. And that's how I met Princess back in 2012, and we did auditions and we shot it over I think like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and it was just such a a fun experience, and I learned so much from that, as in, look, if actors drop out and you can't replace somebody, just cancel the show. Don't try to like go forward and do it and stuff. But what was it like for you? Do you remember that time? Like, what was it like for you working on that?
I was really excited because in that time, I'm trying to think back. I think I just came out of uni, or I was just coming out, or I just come out of uni. So I was just wanting to do work. I just wanted to start getting stuff, like start to create a show reel, getting some work done. So I was really excited about it, and I really enjoyed the concept of it as well. So yeah, it was very hot, I remember.
Yes, it was a sunny summer, which is rare.
Which is very rare, very rare. Yeah, there was a few things that happened, but I enjoyed it. I didn't
like what? I don't remind me. Take me down memory lane, because what happened?
Well, I just remember like some of the actors. It was just a bit.
Well, I mean, one couldn't act.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Well, do you know what? I should shut up. I'm just an actor. I'm not. I can't judge someone else's acting skills. But yeah, some people.
I mean, they admitted to me years later that like,
really,
yeah, like that was their first acting gig, and they knew it wasn't good. So it's like we're talking in code, and I don't want to put these people or that person on blast. But but
at least for them, it was that's how you learn.
Yeah,
you've got to do these things, especially if you haven't been trained, and you've got to do these things and just see how it goes. See if you actually can make this become a career, and maybe not just a hobby.
Yeah, true. And I think for us at the time, like we were so young and we just were so excited to make a film, and we just didn't have the right resources. So we was able to like have a great rehearsal space. If you remember that place in Elephant Castle, and that kind of like film school program we was a part of, they would give us like the camera equipment and stuff like that. But for some reason, I mean, I knew they didn't like me, and so this is the proof that I got.
So.
Yes, because they had cameras with SD cards that they could give us. They gave us cameras with tape. Now, this was 2012. Like, we were shooting
tape.
on... Yeah, so that's what we shot on, was on tape. So that was the camera they gave me to shoot on. So it's like, when we all thought, yeah, this is going to look great, it came out looking not what we thought it would be and stuff like that. And it was such a great learning experience, because we was able to understand what not to do and who to call on when you need more help as well. And I think...
But I do think as well, you like, as like a young crew producing something, you did well. Like, you had really good locations, I think. Managed to do that, and you managed to get quite a few people on board.
Yeah. That's
remember
true.
our party scene.
Oh yes, there was the house party,
The
and that was in that studio. Do you remember?
Yeah, and wasn't that also? Is that still that was the space that also became a bedroom? Was it?
Yes, yeah. Because I
really good
forgot.
space, yeah.
See, we were doing set design. We
Yeah,
were doing
you were
like
doing a lot.
location manager work. Like we
Yeah.
were shot in coffee shops and we shot in parks and in that studio where we turned into like you and can't remember your character's name. Eva, that was her name, and her friend's name was Yasmin, I think, in the show, and that was played by Dion. And I remember it was like showed into your living room space or your bedroom, and we did quite a lot as well.
You did it.
We did. I should really watch it back because just to see. But it's such an interesting concept because it was about a black girl who is within the black community perceived as quote unquote white or is not black enough, and so we was trying to play along with that, and her her tug between does she want to date this white guy because she's gonna fall into that stereotype, and that was like the I feel like the message of it got lost because that's what we really wanted to do, but it just kind of went into the usual tropes of romantic comedy.
Yeah, actually, now that you said that, I can see that. When it started, it was focusing on that, and then
and so.
But again, that's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's true, and it was just so good because it was fine as being a typical romantic comedy, but it's like it would have been good if we could play on that more, just because of that. So that was a fun experience. I still have so many fun memories from that. I also met Samuel from that, who ended up being in my web series, Nate and Jamie, and it's just so funny sometimes to work with somebody like yourself and then work with them again years later, or they stay kind of in your life in a way. Because usually you kind of do a job and then it's like, okay, and you never see them again. You may have each other on social media and that's it. But we ended up reconnecting like 8 years later to do Talia Versus. And what was that like for you? Because I remember us like either tweeting each other, and you said something like, I think it's time for us to work together again.
I did,
and then
I spoke it into existence. So why is it only happens, that speaking stuff into existence only happens to me once in a blue moon? I could say I want £1 million, this ain't gonna happen.
Exactly.
But like I remember I tweeted that because I was like, I want to work with Kashif again. I'm going to tell him I'm going to work with him again. But so I was actually quite shocked when you messaged me about Talia Versus and maybe wanting to audition for it. But I'm glad I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was very, very hectic. Like we literally only had 3 weeks to shoot that. Yeah. So it was like, I was like, okay, we need a black actress. I literally messaged every black actress that I knew. And I was like, this is paid. This is what it is. This is what we're shooting. Do you want to audition? And I was like, cool. And I knew you would be one of like a really great person to play Talia. I just once I read the character description, and I got the show from when Serafina told me about it. So it was like, okay, this is what we can do. So I was like, okay, let me just reach out to every single one that I know and stuff like that. And you auditioned and you just got the role. I know you did like what was it, chemistry audition process with Camila, as because Camila was playing your best friend Bo in the show, and because Serafina was also quite like, she didn't know specifically how to do it, and I said have them audition together, just so that you can see what their chemistry will be like, and then it just worked.
It did.
And you guys were front runners from way back.
Really?
Yes, you were. Because the thing is, we had such a limited time. We didn't even really have time to like filter out each actress. So literally, it wouldn't be like, okay, we had time to watch loads of shows. It was literally, if you look visually, okay, you look like you can play her. Cool, do a tape. And it was like, I feel like when people see paid, listen, it flux everyone into it.
Your inboxes must get
it was, and
full.
it was just filled with trash, like the self tapes. I'm just gonna keep it real. It was just trash, and so you guys not only were just the best, but you guys were really good. So it just worked so easy.
That's so nice to hear. That day, I was really nervous because I had to get my hair done. because I think it was my birthday, coming up to my birthday, and I was getting my hair done, and I was like, I'm in the middle of getting my hair done, and now I've got to do this tape, and I've got to do this. It was a Zoom.
Yes.
It was a Zoom audition, and I had to do it then. And I was like, I've got to do it at my sister's house, and there's madness going on in the background. There's bare kids in our house. How am I going to do this? So I was thinking, they ain't going to take me serious, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to try and make it work. And as soon as I started speaking to Camila, I was like, I feel like I know you. So it was good, because even now, me and Camila actually, we talk a lot, and we meet up a lot. We do things together outside of all of that. So it's nice that we had this show, because now it's created this lovely friendship. And I've always said to her, you remind me so much of one of my childhood friends instantly, as soon as I met you. So it just felt like, yeah, I do know her, you know. So it worked.
See, look at that. See, and the chemistry between you guys is great on the show, and that's what's really good. And I think I compare it to Orioh, because it wasn't the same. Like, you had your on-screen best friend, but it wasn't the same. And it's so important about chemistry reads, and when you're auditioning, like self-tapes are fine, but it's like, that's why every project that I do now, I will do a self-tape, then we'll do a callback. And so if you're going to be working with another actor closely, or potentially, I will have you doing group auditions, because it's the best way to see what your rapport is going to be. And then also you need to like weed out who the divas are going to be. Like,
it's really true.
Orioh was such an important lesson for me, because like it was just like, you know, you having people supposed to be actors, and they're trying to direct and come in, and it's like, you know, and there's
it was
a
lot. There was times it's like, know your place. I know that sounds harsh, but I do think a lot of actors need to know your place within a production. You're not the director. You can suggest something, but you can't then start taking control of everything else around you. That's not what you're there for. And I think some people find it really hard to be directed. They just can't do it.
So you need to find another profession, or you need to come behind the camera.
How seriously? So you need to go find another profession. You need to leave. But it's true. It's true.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just so cool just to see that the growth in myself, and then to work with you again, because I've always been such a big fan of your work as you as an actress. So it was great to just, I knew you'd be great, because you were, even though yes you were the lead character in Orioh, you gave the best performance. So it's like everyone who watched it, who I knew, was like, she's such an amazing actress, like she really saved the project. Look, accept it, because
and I need to accept.
You know, you need to accept, because that was the really great point of part of the show and the film and stuff like that. So when we shot Talia Versus, you remember it was like peak lockdown. Well, no, it wasn't lockdown. It was like peak COVID. Remember, it was that one day shoot, and it was so hot. And do you remember the next week, second lockdown was announced?
That was a lot. It was like everyone wearing masks. It was, and to get all of that footage done in one day, it was insane.
And we went over, because it was a 14-hour day. It was crazy.
But everyone was committed to it.
Yeah.
So
and
I think we knew that it had it. I'm not gonna say has potential.
Yes.
So you know, I didn't really care. I really enjoyed it, so I was like, I don't really care how long we're gonna take to this. We're gonna do it. And plus, I really enjoyed the character, because some aspects of her is very much like me anyway, unfortunately.
No, stop.
Just like some of her silliness, I'm like, oh my God, that is something Princess would do.
And that's the great thing about it, is think about shows like Insecure, like Issa D is so similar to Issa Rae. So it's like that, it's fine where you can play a version of yourself, or more of a like eccentric version of yourself. Like a heightened
version. Yeah. I mean, there's some things I wouldn't do, but then there are elements of the character that I just think, I can really relate to this.
Exactly. And as you know, like, Talia Versus has potential. The listeners will probably keep hearing me saying I can't say much, but I can't say much. So just wait and see.
I can't say much. But do you know how many people who are like my friends, and sometimes not even someone who had class as a friend, just more of an associate, who've watched it and keep asking me, what's happening? When's it coming? I was watching that. I was really dedicated to watching the show. And I was like, really? You know, it's nice to see that, you know, the hard work pays off, and people can see that this is something enjoyable. And I think what tends to happen is that sometimes when people watch a show and it's predominantly black, they think those who aren't a person of color, they might think, oh, it's this show's going to be based on the fact that they're black.
Yes.
But it's not.
No, it's not.
We have stories too, which doesn't matter, regardless of color or where you're from. We all go through love issues. We all go through toxic relationships with parents. We all go through, I don't know, not having money or any kind of the average daily thing.
Yeah.
And that's why Talia Versus is so nice, is because like every episode is her versus something.
Yes.
Her versus the world.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's happened. And she's just, you know, your average girl trying to, you know, live life.
Exactly.
So,
And that's what's great about the show. And it's important that you said that. And I like that you said that, because, you know, there's nothing about the show what highlights, oh, that you're black. Unless Serafina wrote an episode saying Talia versus racism. Then which probably could be an episode. But these characters just happen to be black.
Yeah.
That's literally it. But everyone can relate to what's
happening.
To what's happening. And that's what's really good about it.
Yeah.
So I want to take you all the way back to the beginning. How did you get started as an actress?
Wow. All the way back. I remember quite similar to when you spoke to Pierre, actually, on your last podcast. I've always wanted to be an actor from when I was in primary school, and I was the lead in a year 6 play. And I remember actually having the thought, this is what I want to do. But I didn't know what, obviously at that age, like 10 or 11, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that information. And, you know, and obviously I went to school and whatever. And then when I went to college, I thought, well, I had wanted to be a vet, but I thought, I'm going to just switch up a bit. I'm going to focus on performing. That's what I like to do. I studied performing at college. Then I'd done it in uni, because I went to the University of West London, which, or some people like to call, if they're fancy, the London College of Music.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that was the same thing.
Yeah, it's just their like performing arts department.
Right.
That's what they call. But you know, a lot of people, like I said, so they feel like they've gone to a drama school, but no, it's a uni. Sorry to let everyone know the truth. And yeah, so after I studied acting for screen and stage for 3 years, I was like, I'm going to just start doing it. It took a while because I felt like I've always done acting. Even through studying in uni, I was doing things outside, just like little bits here and there. But I never really took it seriously until probably a few years after I left university. And yeah, I just started, I thought, well, okay, I need to create a profile. Let me go on Mandy Network, which used to be called Casting Call Pro. Created an account, and I thought, well, I know I'm going to just have to go for everything that's free, because I haven't got much experience. So I just started applying for stuff constantly, actually. I'd be like on there nearly every day applying for auditions and going to shows and like just trying to get myself out there. And yeah, really from then, I reckon I'd say, because I graduated in 2012. So I would say I've been taking it seriously from probably maybe 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a long journey. It is a long journey,
yes,
actually.
It's
been a long time doing this. And I had moments where it's like, well, you know, being an actor isn't very sustainable, as in when it comes to money. When you're not working, you ain't making no money. And when you're starting out, you're doing lots of stuff for free. So I had moments where I was like, okay, I'm just going to go back to a normal job. I worked for the NHS for a few years, but it was always niggling at me that I'm not a person that's supposed to be on just looking at a screen, typing all day. That's great if that's someone's dream or what they want to do, but for me, that's not me. I've always wanted to perform, and it's going to sound a bit big-headed, but even as a child, I always thought to myself, I'm supposed to be something. I feel like I'm someone special. Obviously, as you get older, you start feeling, I'm not anymore. Yes, I am. I'm not anymore.
Yes.
Yes, I am. But it's just never left me. I love to perform, so I've just been carrying on since then. Yeah.
I love hearing people's journey and where they start from as well. And it is such a tough journey being an actor. I say it's harder being an actor than being behind the scenes, because at least with us, like, we can get like a long-term contract. Like, you know, I had a podcast interview yesterday, and that actor, he's also become a crew member, so he was an assistant camera on Bridgerton for like the past 9 months.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I've worked on shows like that where it's like you've had an 8-month contract, and it's like, yeah, that's consistent work, but your work-life balance is out the window. But with an actor, it's like, okay, you have an audition on Monday, and okay, you might get a recall for the next day, and then after that recall, you might not get it. So then it's like, and that's it. And you're not being paid for, well, potentially, like I just did, I worked in advertising for about 10 months, and seeing that process of like, okay, yeah, a recall fee for a particular actor or actress, they get paid like maybe like $250 or maybe £50 or something just for that extra call day, even though they didn't get it, or they were just a backup. But that's not going to pay your bills. That £50 you're getting for that, and it could take like a month for you to get that £50 anyway.
Exactly.
So
it's I always feel like people are so busy glamorizing the idea of being an actor that most times when I tell people I'm an actor, they're like, you know, they always go, are you on EastEnders? And like, that line is so old, but they all think it must mean that you're loaded and things are happening and boom. There's loads of times, and even actors I know who do amazingly well when they've had periods of nothing. And then you're just thinking, well, when's the next? It's not only next job, but also when's the next paycheck gonna come through? You know,
exactly.
It's a hard one. I always tell people that, especially young people, if you want to be an actor, you have to love it with every cell within your body, because you're gonna have to deal with rejection constantly being criticized for your work. Always working and investing all your time, energy, money into getting showreels, headshots, you know, signing up to Spotlight, signing up to Mandy, all those kind of things. You have to sacrifice a lot of stuff, and it's gonna take a long time to get there. Some people are lucky when they just go somewhere and boom, it happens. But the average person, it's not that story. But I love it. I know I do love to perform. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I think I'd be a bit crap at anything else, actually.
Nah, you made a good point, because like when you said about how you tell people you're an actor and they ask, you in EastEnders or whatever, I get the same thing. Like I'll say, I'm a writer, producer or whatever, and it's like, have you done anything I might have seen? I'm like, bitch, no, I have not. Like it's like, it's so frustrating. Like, you're not gonna see what I have done, okay? And it's hard. And then the pet peeve for me is like, you'll say, okay, I've done this or that, and then they try to like minimize what you've done, as if to say, that's not a Marvel film, so it's like, and it's like, you don't understand, like, there's so many aspects of the industry.
Exactly. I think people think you just knock on Marvel Studios' door and say, hey, I'm a producer or I'm an actor. Hire me, and they go, oh wow, of course, come in. I wish it was like that. It's
not. The fight to get through the door is hard enough. Like, I had to do so much unpaid work experience at companies just to then get a job, because somebody liked me and was like, they were like, cover us for a few days, or they told me chat to this person and like, this is how you can just maybe get work. And so I was just chatting to a production manager, and she was like, if you would like to come on set, we would need the help. So I was able to just get on set as a runner like that. That was literally how I was able to start working and gain that professional credits. Do you get what I mean? It's completely different.
It is. It's different from like your average job. And people just don't if you don't live it, you don't quite understand it. And me, I think I worked unpaid for, it must have been about a good 3 years, and maybe like low pay. And then it just got to a stage where I'm like from actually, been a few years now, but I'm like, I don't do anything for free now, innit? Don't even ask me.
Make it clear.
I'm gonna make it real clear to you. I ain't doing it. And that might sound harsh, but I know my worth. And the only time I'm like, okay, cool, I'll give you a blight, or I might help a friend out. They have to be a good friend of mine. I say, Princess, can you just do? Then cool, I'll do it. But because I want to see us all succeed.
Of course.
But everyone's gonna think I'm being really, really awful. But after years of doing this, like basically 10 years, do not message me on my Instagram saying to me, do you want to do this? And you can get loads of exposure. No. Sorry.
It's
if I was if I just came out of drama school or uni, great.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say now I'm a big superstar. I ain't. But
no, it's about knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, it's different as well. Like, it's similar, but different.
Yeah.
So, like, people will drop in my DMs and they're like, oh, would you like to collaborate? And this and that. And I'm like, no. And I will, like, recommend other people.
That's what I tend to do. It's kind of like, no, but I do know someone who actually needs more experience and they're good to work with. Here's their details.
And people may be listening and thinking we're big-headed, but it's not. It's like we've done so much in our careers that we're not in that place where we want to collaborate. Or yes, you're always a networking, but we're not networking in that way. And also, when you've done so many collaborations and you're not being paid, or 90% of the time, the end product isn't good.
Yeah.
And that's also a thing as well. It's like we're not in that space to have a learning curve moment. We just talked about Orioh. That was a learning curve 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Like
you said, after 10 years, if you've got a career, you've started up your own business, and you might start out, selling people your Christmas cards or whatever. You start a few years giving people stuff for free. Then after a certain point, you're going to say, no, I need to charge you. Because it's time, energy.
Yeah.
And
it's
free
true.
Doesn't pay the bills.
No. Because it's so funny. Like, I remember last year when I quit I was working at Discovery Channel for like quite a few years, and then I quit, and I just wanted to focus on the freelancing full time, because I was doing that job as my safety job, freelancing as well, plus doing independent stuff. I was like, I'm tired of this job. So I put out a tweet saying, I'm going full freelance, hit me up if you need a producer, whatever. I had so many people in my DMs looking for a producer to collaborate for free, or to apply for funding and this and that. And it's like, that wasn't what I just said.
You
didn't
hear me.
No, exactly. And that's the thing as well, like, back to what we were saying about where people who don't know the industry, like, you'll talk to some people and say, oh, but BFI have funding, or Arts Council. It's like, everybody's applying for that, and there's certain specific requirements for that, and also they're always looking for something specific as well. Like, that's what it also is. Like, when you speak to people in more so inside, it's like, you have to tick certain boxes, and also the stories of what they want to commission during that year. So you could have a great piece, but it could be like, oh, not for right now. So it's just like so many hurdles you do jump over within that industry. So it's a bit, it's just, But again, like you, I can't imagine myself doing anything else. Like, I couldn't go. I just can't. So it's just like, unfortunately,
it's just not in you, is it? Like,
no,
I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna quit.
Quit.
I'll stick it out for a good you look at my normal job CV, like, Princess, how many jobs have you left? Like, because it's not for me.
Exactly. Like, oh yeah, I can just do that. So, as an actress for yourself, what do you prefer though? On screen or theatre?
I like both.
Okay.
For different reasons, but I do feel like theatre kind of pushes up just above film for me.
Okay.
Obviously everyone wants to do film because and screen work, you get seen more, they're bigger budgets, hopefully. So I get it, and it's exciting being on a set, but there's something about being on stage in front of people and just performing and feeling that they feel they can feel what your character is feeling right now. Feeling that you are making them feel some type of way there's no feeling like it. I'm an extremely nervous performer. I'm always nervous before I go on stage. However, when I'm on there and I come off, the adrenaline rush is so It's phenomenal. It's so amazing. So I always feel like, I do love them both for different things, but I like that with film you can always cut and just be like, okay, let's do that again.
Okay.
And and when you watch yourself on film, sometimes you're like, oh, I never really. You see things in different perspectives. Oh, I never really thought of that actually. Now that I'm rewatching it, whereas on theatre you just do it one time and it's done. But yeah, I do think theatre is just a little bit more of my passion. Although I think my agent wants me to push more into screen, which is great.
Yes.
Just it's harder to get into. I feel like,
But you just did the wedding speech, and that's what, the third one, or you're going to do your third one coming up soon, right?
This is like, let me think. Okay, I'm gonna have to count because I'm so Brixton House, the Hope, Camden People's Theatre, Poplar Union. Where was that? The Vaults. This is Soho. So the one that's coming up will be the 7th
Wow.
run.
Wow. See, I thought I was tracking it when I wasn't really tracking.
It used to be called something else, so maybe that's why.
Maybe
it got changed. The name's changed. Yeah.
Okay, right. And I was saying to you before, like, every time I've seen you post it and I wanted to go, and I've seen all our other like previous cast members we've worked with or crew go, and I'm like, I really want to go, but I'm just never available when you're going to do. So like, how has that been for you? Because it seems like another chapter in your career where it's a big highlight for you, and it's doing well. It's getting the great reception and critical acclaim. So like, how is it for you to kind of have a 7th run of a play, and it's a one-woman show?
Yeah. It's insane. I never, ever thought I would do a one-woman show. In fact, I don't really like one-woman shows. But this has changed my mind upon it. I think loads of the one-woman shows I had seen previously were like at Edinburgh Festival. And I always found them to be quite self-indulgent because a lot of the time it's about the performer's own story. It's the actor's own story, and it's just
because usually it's like they write and perform it, and I've been a bit shaky about that. I understand what you mean.
I mean, I think, and it's very obvious, like, oh, this is just your life. What we're talking about now.
Yeah.
You're not a character; you're playing you.
Yeah.
So I've always been a bit, but doing this has been really pulled me out of my comfort zone because you're by yourself, and I've always had a fear. Because I'm not big on improvisation. Because I'm always like, oh, I need to know what my script is and I need to know what I'm doing. And this wedding speech, this one-woman show has made me realise, no, because there's times, the character breaks the fourth wall throughout the whole thing. So I speak to the audience and sometimes they answer back. So I have to respond.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people just say things. I never ask them a question. It's almost like a panto. Like, I don't even ask them a question. They just go, oh, wow, can you believe that happened? And I'm like, I know, right? That's crazy. So it's kind of really pushed me out of that comfort zone, and it's made me grow as a performer. I think some people that I've known who've seen me perform and other stuff have said just how much my skill has progressed since doing this one-woman show. So, I'm so thankful for it. It's been terrifying. It's been scary, but I love it. I absolutely love it. And how I got the role actually was really, it's like it fell in my lap. I basically, someone who I don't really know, but someone who I know of within networking. She messaged me on my Instagram saying, oh, there's a production company looking for an actor who can just read the script that they have written. And I was like, okay. And, they just wanted someone who was British with Jamaican heritage, age group. I was like, cool, I can do that. Sent them an email. They asked me to come down and read it at the Young Vic. So I did that. And it was funny because the first version of this script has changed many times, by the way. Thanks a lot, Cheryl. Cheryl's the writer. It's changed so many times. But the first time I got it and I read it, I was like, again, with Talia, I was like, actually, this character has a lot of essence of me. There was a lot of things I could relate to. And especially when she talked about her youth, and I was like, oh my God, that Princess when she went through an emo phase. This is right.
This I would have loved to see.
Yeah, but that's actually not in the script anymore. But at this point, at this stage, it was. I was like, oh my god, I remember that all these songs that they were listing that the character says. I was like, that used to be my number one song. Oh my god, it was crazy. So that was a nice experience. And then like about a month or two later, I got an email saying, oh, do you want to audition for the part? And I said, yeah, okay. Then I got another email going, actually, because the director was there when I was reading, and she was like, she really liked you. She just wants to know if you want to do it. And
wow.
And I was like, okay, okay, I'll do it. And, you know, I've been rolling with it ever since. And it's been an amazing journey for me. Very eye-opening and almost therapeutic for me as well, I think. And it's made me realise, you know, I can do this. I can, if I'm ever doubting myself and my ability, I feel like, well, if once you do a one woman or one man show, you can do anything because it's you. You're carrying the show. Yeah. It's you alone. There's no one else to look at but you.
And stage presence as well.
Yeah.
So clearly you must have good stage presence. You command the room because it's loads of people have been engaged, and that's why you've been able to get all these great reviews and stuff. Yeah. And you're on your 7th run. So, you know.
Yeah, it's been... I just didn't... Sometimes I think about it, I think, I'm very proud of myself. Yeah, I often don't like to take compliments, something I'm struggling with. And I don't often give myself kudos or praises, but I've been trying. This show has been teaching me that I can say, you know what, you're good at this. You're good at this, you know, and well done you. So, yeah, it's been a lovely... It's like been like a personal growth, but also a professional growth and a growth within my actual skill. So, yeah.
Good. Because speaking of giving yourself kudos and you don't like that, I've always been such a fan of you as an actress. And I always felt like you're such a great actress, and I always felt like you should have been a lot more farther along in your career.
Yeah.
How is it for you as a dark-skinned black woman moving within this industry, especially in the UK? Like, how was it for you? Because I do remember, correct me if I'm wrong, you did get into a drama school in America.
Yeah, in New York. Yeah.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go.
Why didn't you go?
I had a passport issue.
Okay.
That makes me sound like deport me. No, but I had... It's a long story, but that was one of the reasons. Okay. But then also, and then I deferred it for a year.
Okay.
But it was Stella Adler, so it was a very good drama school. But then it was like, oh, I need to find £10,000 because that's how much you need to come with.
Oh wow! Okay.
And it was like, I don't know how I'm going to get that in such a short space of time. So I just kind of let it go.
Okay.
Oftentimes I do think about what would have happened if I had gone. If I had applied for like the full time, then I probably could have got I could have applied for a scholarship.
Okay.
But it was a short course.
Okay.
So yeah, I just didn't do it. But then I've always thought to myself, well, New York's always there.
Yes.
If I ever want to go and I can. I think people feel like, well, why would you want to go back and study? But with acting, I don't think the learning ever stops.
No.
So I can go. New York's not disappearing. I can go back anytime. But often I do think to myself, I wish I had gotten... I wish I was further in my career than I am. And that's hard to accept. Yeah. It is hard to accept. And that's something I'm constantly having to deal with and like battle with. It's like one of my own demons, my inner demons. And especially when people say it to me, because sometimes a lot of times, especially with the wedding speech, the one woman show, and I come out, I often get people who I don't know who all say, why aren't you on this now? Why aren't you on like script? Why haven't I seen you? Why haven't I heard about you? And I'm just like, thank you. I don't know. You know,
like
I can't
you're working hard to get there.
I'm trying to get there, but it's just, it's really hard. And I do think I find it is harder for dark-skinned women in the UK. I do think that. not even me trying to say like throw a race card. I think it is that. Loads of times I've seen things and I think, well, you know, I just think that we could have more of an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, where someone like Michaela Coel, like writing your own thing and make it yourself. Great. I'm not a writer, you know, so it's a bit different for me. Because this might be controversial, but I always feel like for black men, it's easier.
Yes.
And I think there's more opportunity for black men out there in the industry in the UK. Whereas with America, you have this idea, and I do think it's probably would just be a bit easier, which is why a lot of UK actors go over there and start up from there, and then their career blows up. Then the UK want to know about them. But I've been done trying to get you lot to know about me for years.
We've seen the track record.
Yeah.
It is facts. Like, as soon
facts.
as they blow up in America, then it's like, they're a big star.
And they're like, we would love you to be in our TV show. And it's like, well, no.
But it's true. Yeah. Like, if Idris Elba didn't go to America,
yeah, exactly,
and do that, he never would have got Luther.
Exactly.
Like,
so
facts.
I often think, and I do sometimes think to myself, well, maybe I should just go out there anyway, even if I don't go to drama school, and just see how it goes, and see what happens, kind of thing. I don't really have a plan, but I do have family that live in America, so you know I won't be alone. So I just, it's always an option for me, I think, in my head. But yeah, I do think it's just. I always just feel like, even like when you see a lot of UK produced like films and stuff, and you know, and they're like maybe predominantly black shows, it might be that they've got so many roles for black men that, and all the women, the leading women tend to be lighter toned, light skinned. They do, and I don't want to always be the funny best friend. Who has a couple lines here, funny crack lines every now and then. Or I don't want to be like the girl who's in the scene, but her baby father has left her and is in prison. Do you know what?
Well, I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like,
listen,
I don't want to have to do all of that kind of stuff. But yeah. I just feel like there's so much more roles for black men. And even when I've gone to a lot of events where they kind of talk to people who are trying to get into the industry, like networking type events, and they have people on the panel speaking about their journey. And a lot of time when it is a lot of black men, a lot of them that I have seen, I'm not saying all of them, so don't quote me on this, not all of them, but a lot of them I've seen have said, oh, you know, I didn't want to be an actor. I just turned up to an audition, innit?
That's my pet peeve.
Man got the audition, and then after that, things just took off from there. And I think, yeah, but you're playing the same road, man. Every single role you do, but you get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And here I am saying, hi, can someone look at my CV, please? You know,
I understand.
I feel like it's painting the idea that acting is that easy to get into the industry when it's not.
Yeah.
So
no, you made such good points, and I do agree, because like when I look at what's being commissioned, especially by black writer, director, producers in the UK, it is predominantly men, and it is a lot of male lead focused ones. Like I remember there was that BBC show Some Girls, and that had a diverse cast, and the lead actress was black. That was I'm not gonna say her name, I don't want to mispronounce it. And
she's really good,
and she just got nominated for a BAFTA, which was great. But when I think about it, as I was listening to you, it's like, it's true, there's not really a lot of dark-skinned females who are the lead in shows. Michaela Cole's I May Destroy You and Chewing Gum was the last one. Yeah,
and I can't think of anything else.
No, because there hasn't been one. Like, it has been, because I feel like at the moment, like when they are commissioning, like for BBC and stuff like that, and BBC 3 and Channel 4, I would say are like the closest one you're going to get.
Yeah.
Like, if it is going to be a woman of color, it is going to be a mixed race girl who's talking about identity a lot, which is fine because that's their experience. But
and I feel like a lot of these companies do that because they might think British audiences will take it better that way, or more will accept it. Oh, okay, it's not too much. I don't know.
I don't know.
But,
like it's such a catch-22 because you speak to so many different people, and like I remember one diversity panel I went to, and it was a woman saying that like it was like the head of commissioning at Sky One, and he was like, well, he's only going to commission something with black leads if he knows that this amount of black people are going to watch it. But just like we were saying about Talia Versus, it's not about just getting the black audience, it's about them watching it and just enjoying it. Everybody,
I mean,
not
we
just
used to
one.
we watch shows with full of white people all the time.
Exactly.
And no one cares. I watch it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love Downton Abbey, by the way.
So it's like, exactly. So
know?
that's what it's about. And it's like, there's so many black women who I know who have been commissioned to write their scripts and pilots, just like, you know, what we've been, you know, secretly hinting at as well. And it's like, okay, they're there, but it's like, okay, when are we going to get it green lit?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like we're still playing like this catch up, because you got Dreaming Whilst Black, what has been commissioned, you know, by Johnny Salmon, and that's great, but that's a black
I
male
auditioned for
lead.
that years ago.
Oh, really?
Like, no, when it was just like the web series,
Oh,
it was
okay.
the worst audition.
Oh, no.
I was terrible because I just gone through a breakup that time. So when I went there and I came out, I was like, Princess, you ain't got that role in it. You ain't got it. You ain't got it.
That is so interesting. Yeah, but that is doing great. And he does have, you know, a Johnny in his show. Like he has, you know, dark-skinned woman as the lead in that show. So I feel like it is coming once the official green lit comes.
Yeah.
And because the reality is we don't always want to just have to go to America, but there's just so much more opportunity there. And what you said about panels was really interesting. I decided not to go to any more panels after I went to one last year, where it was like 3 people sitting up on the panel, and they were they were so inexperienced. Like they were from advertising backgrounds. One was in a music talent agent before, and they just decided to start directing music videos, or they just wanted to make a film. And I'm like, you're sitting up here, and they're literally were having conversations amongst each other, like, oh, you know, I've never done a writer's room, and I've never done, and I'm sitting there like,
so I'm like, I got a ticket to here.
Yeah, and I'm watching you have a panel discussion, and you're asking questions about things you don't know about the industry, and I'm sitting here and I don't answer to what you're saying.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm done, because they just it just matters about who you know. And who can get you on there. So it's like, I'm not listening to that because it's offensive to me. And I feel like I should be there because I could drop more knowledge to what you're even saying. So it's like, it's not even like an ego boost. But it's not an ego boosting. It's just frustrating of how you see the industry is. Like, it is about luck, and it is about who you know. So it's like you said, any bozo can get up on a panel and just be like saying, but it's true. Like, you got the roadman saying that. It's like, but you've been acting for years.
After that, just like you, after that, I stopped going for a long time. But recently, I'm trying to go back into networking again. I hate networking, but it's needed. You need to do it.
It's so important.
But yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't be watching those.
No.
I'm here to take notes.
Yeah.
And learn. And you're here to tell me you don't know the answer.
Now I just tell people, look, if you want me like to come to these things, like either put me on the panel, then it's better for me, because I wouldn't, you know how I am. I haven't changed in the past 10 years that you know me. Yeah. So it's like, but like, I will be very honest in the panel.
Say
like,
how it is.
So I'm gonna give you the rule of the industry. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or paint this picture, because this is how it is. You know, we don't get into this industry because we make lots of money, because you don't see that money unless you really become someone huge. So that's the difference as well. So So what's happening next? Like, what have you got coming up? What you can share?
I have no idea. I wish I had the answer. I've auditioned for a couple of things, so I'm waiting to hear back from them. But yeah, that's it really. Just the one more show of the wedding speech in April at the Space Theatre, 18th to the 20th of April. Get your tickets now.
Thank you. I'm going to do it. That was a hint at me.
Hitting you. But yeah, it's just, I'm just keep going, keep striving for me at the moment. Hopefully I'll get some more screen work. That's the next step for me. I want to do something on screen. It's just getting in that door. And I've had some really great auditions, but I think a lot of the time in this industry, they sometimes they might think you're good, but they want a name, or they want someone who's a bit known.
I've
And
had
I'm not there
conversations
yet,
like
so
that. No,
yeah.
I've been having a lot of people who want me to come on board and like exec produce their projects and stuff, and they've seen the success of Talia Versus, so they're like, oh, can you get a name? And I did work on a project a couple years ago where we did get what's that guy's name, Anonzi on the short film. He's in Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have experience getting a named actor, but that's not guaranteed. You've got to kind of negotiate a way of how it's going to be beneficial to them.
Yeah.
And then, but then having a name also doesn't necessarily always mean that's going to get to where it needs to be. You still need that backing from other parts as well. So I totally get that. People just feel like a name's going to take their project to the next level. But some people I know recently who were just nominated for BAFTAs for their short film, they had no names in it. It was just a great film.
Yeah.
So
It's not, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. Yeah.
So yeah. So, and where can people find you, like, to check out your previous work and to see, you just said the wedding speech, but like where they can keep up with your projects and stuff like that.
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm more of an Instagram person. I'm more of a picture person. At Princess Actress X. We could say it's a kiss, but it's an X. Okay. Princess Actress X. And on Twitter, I'm at Princess X. And and I also have a YouTube channel, which I just started up properly in February, which is about acting, acting advice for beginners, lots of acting tips as well. It follows my career behind the scenes a little bit more. Plus, I also do lifestyle and travel videos too.
Great. Well, thanks, Princess, for coming on the show. It was great chatting and catching up with you. And see, it's easy. Everyone's always nervous coming on the show. Like, this ain't those toxic male podcasts where they're going to be like coming for you. Not me.
They will come for you hard as well, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be fighting someone at the end of that.
Exactly. Well, it was good having you on.
Thank you for having
me. Of course. Well, thanks, guys, for listening. You can follow me all on my usual socials. You know them. There's a bunch of them. Stay tuned for new episodes coming soon as this is the mid-season finale. So we're taking a brief break, but we'll be back soon. Yes, we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.